Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días, aquí tienen el horario para hoy, viernes, el 4 de abril. We last left off with, on Monday, the reading about interview culture in the Spanish-speaking world. We did the comprehension questions on page 135, the true-false, about norms, interviewing norms in the Spanish-speaking world and the English-speaking world. And then I had you on Wednesday begin to work on your resumes, your academic and work resumes, and just to quickly go over the criteria for that assignment. So you guys, for this assignment, are creating an up-to-date personal resume. The entire thing can and should be in English. 3 parts to it, including your education background, which is going to have the most information, right? Your GPA, AP enrollment, extracurricular activities, academy affiliation, electives, anything and everything pertaining to your academic background, the back of your academic baseball card, if you will. Yeah, you're welcome to include also any work experience you may have. And if you don't have any work experience, you can certainly talk about what you aspire to do this summer or next academic year, or after you graduate. You can look into the future as far off as you'd like. And then volunteer involvement, you should definitely have a little bit of that. It doesn't need to be formal volunteer experience. It could be informal, like helping out with family or friends. But if you do have formal volunteer experience with a community organization, a church, that's highly recommended as well. Welcome to use any template of your choosing. You guys have some good Canva options to choose from. Not required to use these. Not required to use a picture, but I think, it's a nice look. Whatever look you want to go with, I leave it to you. You may include or exclude a photo, and you may include or exclude any other useful information such as skill set, awards, and achievements. This is due by today. Please make sure to have that submitted by today, and I really do look forward to taking a look at your personal highlights and achievements. Today we are going to do a quick recap of the future. So take brief notes on page 136, and then you guys are going to do some practice activities. So really today, polish that resume if you didn't do so already, and then run back to the future, because we're going to be using it a lot in your exit interviews coming up in these next few weeks. A couple ways to express future events in Spanish, as we talked about earlier in the academic year. We could use the present indicative, which is just, Spanish 1 present tense. We could use the construction ir a in the infinitive, as we looked at earlier this semester, to say what you are going to do, right? Using the verb to go, and then a second verb in its infinitive, whatever it is that you are going to do. For example, to go to the movies. Present subjunctive, to express hope or intent for the future. Ojalá vaya al cine. Notice that these are all essentially the same sentiment or idea, just expressed using a different grammar tense. And then the actual, what we call complex future, which really isn't all that complex. In English, we use an auxiliary verb, such as the auxiliary verb will or shall. In Spanish, we just take the main verb in the infinitive form. And then the good news is that the infinitive stays intact. Don't need to drop the AR, ER, IR. And then these endings that you see highlighted, you'll notice that they're the same set of endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs. They all carry accents, except for the nosotros form. And in terms of irregular verbs in the future, they share the same endings as well, the same same endings as regular verbs in the future. The only thing that makes them irregular is their stem, as you can see here at the bottom of page 136. Your activity is to complete these, the inténtalo at the very bottom, inténtalo, complete these infinitives or conjugate these infinitives in the form provided in the future tense. For example, dejaré, correré, invitaré, renunciarás, beberás, vivirás, hará, pondrá, vendrá for Lola in the LAF form. Yeah? And then activity 1, taking what they have in the ir a infinitive, all the statements there are in the ir a infinitive, as you can see here. Ir a infinitive, ir a infinitive, ir a infinitive. Get rid of the verb ir and the preposition a, and then just use the main verb that's in the infinitive and conjugate it in the future. For example, voy a consultar, get rid of the voy a, and you get consultaré. Vamos a casar, casar is to get married. Take away the verb casar, conjugate it in the nosotros form, and you get casaremos. Decir is your main verb, talking about Julian. In the el form, it would be dirá. Dirá. Remember, decir is irregular in the future, and you have those irregulars at the bottom of page 136. In our last activity, or second to last activity rather, complete this conversation with the future of the verbs provided. This one's a little bit more tricky. It's all text dependent. Asustar is to scare. Casar is to get married. Conseguir is to get. You know the verb escribir and estar. Hacerse is to become. Olvidar is to forget. Ser, you know. Tener, you know. Terminar is to terminate or finish. I will never forget what a clairvoyant told me before I was left without a phone battery. I will never forget. Nunca olvidaré. Olvidaré in the yo form. And then all your dreams will come true. To become is the verb hacerse. Number 2 would be se harán. Se harán realidad. Todos tus deseos. This is your subject. So we're conjugating hacer in the future in the ellos, ellas form because the subject is plural. You will finish all your studies. Terminarás. Terminarás tus estudios. And then picking verbs that are associated with these direct objects. Conjugating them in the future. The default for a lot of these, this sequence here, is going to be in the to form because it's being told to this person in the to form. Unless there's another subject provided, like in number 2. Finally, number 3, answer the questions in accordance with this job posting. Imagine that you're accepting the positions provided in the announcement. Answer the questions in terms of what the job will be, what you will do in that job, how much you will get paid, what benefits will be offered, what your schedule you will have. Do you think that you will like the job? When do you think the job will begin? And what do you think you will learn in that job?